Hello and welcome everyone for this new lesson, third secondary stage, the second semester. The title of this lesson, Unit 1, Writing, and the course is Traveler 6. This lesson prepared by Noura Sufyani and presented by Faisal al-Shehri. Okay, our objectives for this lesson: number 1, to write an informal riddle describing an event. The second object, to use an appropriate phrases in writing an informal letter. Right, so we have two main objects. Number 1, to write an informal letter describing an event, and number 2, to use an appropriate phrases in writing an informal letter. All right, warming up a bit. What kind of events does your school or even university organize? The question again: what kind of events does your school or university organize? You can count it: 1, 2, 3. You can mention anything related to exhibitions or museums, related to universities, achievements. What kind of events does your school, university organize? All right. An informal letter describing an event. Now, there is difference in writing between formal letter and informal letter. Now, in the formal riddle, we use to send it to the formal to formal subjects. In the informal, usually between friends, and generally informal dealings. Okay, welcome Hannah. Here we go with the introduction, hints, and tips. I would like to ask you questions, or some questions. First, do you have any idea about informal letter? The question's for you. Hannah, do you have any idea about informal letter? Okay, good. In English, we have two types of writing letters. We have formal letter and we have informal letter. Today, we are going to talk about informal. Okay, which means that you can send it to your friends. You can send an email, for example, any type of message. Okay, so it almost the same points. We should stick to the formal one, but we don't need to write specific words like in greeting. Usually in formal one we write dear and, for example, Ali. And the informal one, you should not think about more about greetings. You can write hi Ali, for example. Okay, so the greeting, the beginning of the letter, greet the person that you are writing to. For example, hi Hannah, hello Hannah. This is informal way of writing the greeting. I usually use between the friends and not in formal purposes. Okay, opening paragraph. Use set phrases to begin your letter. Say why you are writing. Briefly refer to the event. Let's move to the main part. Describe the event, what happens, the atmosphere, special clothes, your personal involvement, say why you like it, closing paragraph, state anything you want to emphasize, use a set phrases, end your letter, and the last thing, signing off. So keep in mind that you should start with a greeting, even if it's informal letter, and end with a signing off. Do not forget that you start with the opening paragraph, main one, and closing for the body of the email or even the letter. Okay, here we go with the content. Here is a part of a letter you have received from a friend. Write a letter to your friend describing a school event in your country. Okay, I'm going to read this for you. I am working on a project at school about various school events around the world. I was wondering if you could help me out by describing popular school events in your country and saying why it's important to you. Hope to hear from you soon. Welcome, Adnan. Now I need your help with that. Did you understand first? Did you understand what was in this content? Okay. Write a letter to your friend describing a school event. And your example of the content. Now, do you remember any school event, Adnan and Hana? Do you remember any school event that happened last year, or maybe this year, or maybe 2 years later, or before? Any school events? Okay. Now, do not forget, when you are writing informal letter describing an event, okay, keep this in mind. Use informal language. Short form example, did not, and do not stick here. And the third thing, exclamations. For example, it was great. Direct questions. For example, what are you up to? Are you okay? Okay, and also expressions. For example, well, of course, anyway, actually, you know, you see. Lively, colorful language. For example, a variety of adjectives, adverb, and phrases. Okay, Hannah. Now, I want from you even to think about event happened in your school. I need you to describe it. First, to say the main parts, and then we can help each other to write the letter. First, can you remember any event happened in your school? Can you remember any event happened? For example, you know what's the meaning of opening day? Usually it happens once a year in some school. We called it opening day. There is no classes taken at that day. Can you, for example, describing a opening day? Okay, can you? For example, what should we start with if you want to talk about opening day? You need to describe it. When did that opening day start? Is it early in the morning or even at 7? And then how many students were there? How many teachers? What is the most the most important things you can say, what you like about that opening day. All these things you can think about it while you are planning to write an informal letter. All right. Did you remember the greeting and the signing off? The before 3 or 4 slides, how to write the informal letter. Now, my dear Robin, I am so happy to hear from you. We definitely have a lot of interesting school events, but I think the most important one is the interesting sports day. The annual sports day in our school is held on the 15th January. On this occasion, our school building, the surroundings are nicely decorated, and flowers, color papers, and festoons. A large panel is built in front of a school building. The first session of the day begins at 8 a.m. At first, the script leader of our school lights the Olympic torch. Next, the chief guest opens the sports day, freeing pigeon over the sky. The sports begin at 10 a.m. The selected events of the day are high jump, long jump, 100 meters race, skipping, chair sitting, discus, throwing cock, 5, etc. Dress as you like. Dress as you like. Antarpagani for the invited guests are the most attractive events of the day. I took part in 3 events and came first in the long jump. This is the closing paragraph. The games comes to the end at 4 p.m. In the last sessions, the chief guest distributes the prizes among the winners. Truly speaking, I enjoy all the day. Anyway, I hope this will help you in your project. Would you like me to send you some pictures too? It will be no problem. With the good wishes. Yours ever, son. Okay? Now, have you used, for example, this way of writing in the formal letter? Do you think? The one I circled. Can we use it in the formal letter? Okay, why? Do you have a reason for that? We could not write it in the formal letter. Welcome, Amira. All right. Now here we go to the evaluation. We have a task. Write a letter to your friend describing a school event in your country. Okay, I will read this task again. Write a letter to your friend describing a school event in your country. Now, the question for you both now, Hannah and Amira, if you would like to describe an event in your school, what type of events you can describe? There is a very important stage before writing. You need to plan. You need to plan for your writing. So what type of event you are going to describe? Think about anything happening usually in the school of Saudi. Any events? It's not difficult. For all. For all. The question for all. And I need your answers. What is, let's say, it's a famous event in school, for example, in your country, whether Saudi or not, any country. What are you going to describe? And you can, speculate from those posters about specific event. All right. Did you write a paragraph or an essay if you would like to write such a thing? Did you write a paragraph or an essay? All right. The last thing, of course, will be summary. An informal letter. We start with the greetings. Can you give me an example of greeting in informal letters? The questions for you all. Can you give me an example of greeting in informal letter? Like what? If you want to start for example, letter or even email. Then we move to opening paragraph, main paragraph, closing paragraph, and then we go to the signing off. Can you give me an example of greeting in informal letter? I think it's not difficult. Okay, here we go to the references of the lesson. I would like to thank you all for your attending and participate. If you have any questions you would like to ask, please do not forget that you can contact through the phone or even through Durus account, e_Durus, Twitter. Thank you again, and I wish all the best for you, and hope to see you next time in other lessons. Goodbye for now.